can't stand the Queendom fan base. I can't stand everyone that defends this mediocrity. He threw the ball 43 times, Steve, for 170 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, take away the 2 drop balls that meant something, the 50-yarder and the 21-yarder that were dropped. He threw for 220 on 43 attempts. Okay, that's real mediocre. Still bad. Like, I'm trying to figure out why we only defend Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes. Somebody came in here and asked me earlier, tell me a team that has a better or worse wideout group. The Giants, the Bears. You want to keep going? I know a lot of teams that have worse wideout groups. I don't see those quarterbacks being defended like this.
Yeah, look, there's something very helter-skelter about the Mahomes read offense right now. Nothing's on time. There's not a lot of rhythm. They don't play on cadence. It doesn't look sharp. It does not look tight. And I am not a conspiracy theorist about the referees fixing games, but some of these calls that the Chiefs get, it's hard to deny it. Like, Mahomes is treated like he's in bubble wrap. But yeah. I thought the Eagles, look, Brian Johnson is going to be a head coach one day. The way the Eagles handled their last offensive drive, I thought was terrible. They get a first down. They're in Chiefs territory. They're up by 4. And I'm thinking, Brian, you should keep attacking the sticks. Touchdown, you put the game away. Field goal, you almost put it away. And the way they handled it, I said, Brian, you have Jalen Hurts. He was in the MVP discussion. Don't be afraid to play ball. And right. I didn't like that last drive. And my view is this. Coach, maybe that's an indictment on today's quarterback play, even the guys that we consider elite.
These guys are figured the top 2 quarterbacks in the league by many, and they combined for 220 last night. Combined. And Matt's starting to come over to the dark side. He's starting to see that I've been right for 3 years, but no, what do I know? The quarterback play is atrocious. It's getting worse. I don't think it's getting better at all, and it's catered to the offensive quarterback position. You should be thriving in this with these rules and bylaws and extreme can't hit the quarterback. If you do hit him, you got to lay him down gently and rock the baby. Like, all this shit is catered to the quarterback, and yet we have the Chiefs haven't scored in the second half in 3 weeks, Steve. Score. Like, this is a atrocious offense because when you take away Kelce and double team him, which one of my former players was on yesterday who actually defends Kelce one-on-one very well. They call Lonnie Johnson one of the best tight end defenders in football, plays for the Saints right now. But he was like, JB, if you keep him on the line of scrimmage, you can manage him a lot easier. When Andy Reid puts him behind the line of scrimmage, it creates a little bit of a more friction. I got to pick routes and I got to go over guys, and he gets the ball quicker. I don't think people understand the absolute offense when it comes to struggling with Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
Yeah, it's time for the Chiefs. The Chiefs have to invest now. Look, Tyreek Hill, whatever reason they wanted to jettison him, that's fine. He seems to be doing pretty good in Miami. They need to get now a marquee number 1 guy. They do. It's such a Kelce-centric offense, which is fine. It works. But I look at their wide receiver core from Rice to Watson. It's a lot of 2s and 3s. They don't have a 1. So I don't know what they're going to do in terms of investing in draft capital, if they can make a trade. I think a lot of guys would want to play for that quarterback. But look, they've tried to piecemeal that together on the outside. I would try to get a true number 1 going into next season.
And I was talking to Weddle last night watching the game, and we're talking, and we're like, dude, this is so bad. I wish the regular common fantasy footballer out here, especially a lot of them in the chat, would understand what a Super Bowl champion safety, when he calls it bad, there should be someone listening, but guess what? I don't know what I'm talking about. Either does Weddle, either does Urlacher, either does anyone else that comes on the show. Dog, Steve, did you see what they're doing with the receivers in the run game? That is an indictment on Patrick Mahomes as to why we can't throw basic concepts with him with the receivers. We got to get him the ball in the run game. McKinnon, Pacheco. If you notice, they had to get Tony in the run game. Their largest run of the night was Tony on an inside shovel pass. So, like, what are you talking about? There's a reason why he's not dropping back. And if you've noticed them, I watched it live on Twitter last night. That kind of went crazy. because I was like, I'm going to eat crow or I'm going to watch this dude choke. Fuck it. I'm going to drop my nuts and watch it. So I watched it. If you've noticed, Patrick Mahomes takes like a 27-step drop.
Yeah.
Like he'll never set his feet. He never takes 5 steps, hits, climbs the pocket. It's like Matt came on and Matt's like, JB, I miss the old days, man. You know why? People don't want to talk about football. Guess what happens when Jalen Hurts and Mahomes and Kyler Murray and Lamar break the pocket and they start to do all this other shit ad-lib? They actually get sacks. They give up sacks. The O-line looks worse than they actually are because you won't climb the pocket and do what's supposed to happen at the quarterback position. You take 20-step drop. By the way, if I take a 20-step drop, guess what it does? The defensive line now is past my point of return. So guess what? I have to escape now. If people don't look at it that way, they're just fantasy guys, and I'm so tired of watching the defense of these guys when the truth really is they're not very good. They're overhyped, talented, uber-talented guys. Don't get it wrong, but the position is just bad, being played very poorly. I'm just going to be honest.
Who do we blame, though? Are we putting most of the blame on the quarterbacks, or is it, like Matt mentioned, is it the coaching that's so bad? Like,
never
Andy Reid's not going to be a bad coach, bro.
JD, maybe you've been saying this for a while, but 2 years ago, quarterback play wasn't as bad. Last year, quarterback play wasn't as bad. This year is like it's I don't know what happens.
Darnell,
it's getting worse every year, Darnell.
Look, Smitty, I don't ever think it's just one thing. It's always everything, a little bit of it. But look, you talk about like traditional quarterback play, and he did not have a strong game. He probably played his first bad game of the year. But C.J. Stroud, I think, is as good as anybody at going to the top of his drop, back foot hitting and making throws, climbing the pocket, going into the belly of the beast, and throwing with anticipation. I got into an argument on a space on Saturday or Sunday afternoon. A group of Hurricane fans at Canes Unfiltered. Shout out to some of those guys watching. But I think C.J. Stroud right now is a top 10 quarterback. I don't know if he's elite, but I think he's top 10.
Hey, Steve, I'll be honest. I don't know if there's a guy playing better than him right now.
Right, and Sunday he was not good. He was a bit of a turnover machine.
2-3 picks, yeah.
But you look at the throws that he makes with anticipation, throwing guys open, climbing the pocket. I said to somebody, look, I'm not saying he's one of the top 5 guys. I don't know if you can name another 5 guys you would take over him right now.
I don't even know if there's, with Burrow being out and Rodgers being out,
right?
I don't know if there's 5 guys that I would take over him. I'm just being honest. And I said it week one. I have receipts, as they say. We showed the video already. I said this guy's better than Lamar right now. That was week 1.
And by the way, Coach, I wanted to say this about what you said about playing with timing and rhythm. And I know his stats aren't great, but as I think Ben Franklin once said, there's lies, damn lies, and statistics. From 1991 to about 1995, Troy Aikman was the best intermediate on-time dissector I have ever seen. I don't care about Troy's stats. I don't care about anything else. But when him, Michael Irvin, Alvin Harper, Jay Novacek were all together, there were times it was almost like a machine. 3, 5, 7-step drops. Troy Aikman gave an absolute clinic on the dig route, the bang 8, the deep comeback, throwing the ball into the flat when nothing was open, the seam route to Novacek. That, to me, was just high-level quarterbacking. When people say, well, Troy Aikman, his stats, again, the style of play in that era, Troy Aikman right now in this day's era, he could be one of those guys that could probably rush for 800 yards. He was actually that good of an athlete. People forget that.
He'd rush for 800 and throw for 8,000.